For times you self-sabotaged and didn't even realize it. You know that feeling when everything's going perfectly and then you somehow mess it up. You finally get that promotion you wanted, but then you start showing up late. You meet someone amazing, but then you pick fights over nothing. You're doing great with your diet, but then you binge eat an entire pizza. You think it's bad luck or lack of willpower, but Freud believed this wasn't coincidence. He called it the death drive, and it might be running your life without you even knowing it. Welcome to Freud Without Mysteries, where we translate psychology into plain English. I'm your AI narrator, and today we're diving into one of Freud's most controversial ideas: why we destroy the very things we want most. Before we start, hit subscribe if you want to understand the hidden patterns controlling your behavior, and stick around until the end. I'll show you Freud's solution for breaking these cycles. What is the death drive? Freud discovered something disturbing about human nature. He noticed that people don't just seek pleasure and avoid pain. Sometimes we actively sabotage our own happiness. He called this the death drive, or thanatos. Think of it like this. Imagine you have two programs running in your mind. One wants to build, create, and move forward. That's your life drive, or eros. But the other program wants to return to a state of calm, to avoid tension, even if it means destroying what you built. That's THANATOS. It's not that you literally want to die. It's that part of your unconscious mind finds growth, success, and change threatening, so it hits the self-destruct button to return to what feels familiar and safe. Here's the key insight. Your conscious mind wants success, but your unconscious mind might be programmed to fear it. And guess which one usually wins? The for ways you self-sabotage. One. Career self-sabotage, the success panic. Picture this scenario. You've been working toward a promotion for months. Finally, you get it. But instead of celebrating, you start making weird mistakes. You miss important meetings. You submit work late. You even consider quitting. Sound familiar? This is classic death drive in action. Your unconscious mind is terrified of the new responsibility, the visibility, the possibility of failure at a higher level. So it creates familiar chaos to bring you back to your comfort zone. I've seen people do this over and over. They get close to their dream job, then mysteriously self-destruct. They tell themselves they're not ready, or they don't deserve it, or they're imposters. But really, their death drive is pulling them back to familiar territory. The pattern looks like this. Success approaches, gives anxiety, rises, gives self-sabotage, activates, gives return to familiar, struggle, gives temporary relief, gives repeat. To relationship self-sabotage, the intimacy terror. Here's another classic scenario. You meet someone amazing. The connection is real. The chemistry is there. Everything feels right. But then you start picking fights over tiny things. You become suspicious of their motives. You push them away just when things are getting serious. Why? Because intimacy is terrifying to the unconscious mind. Getting close to someone means vulnerability, potential loss, possible rejection. Your death drive would rather destroy the relationship now, on your terms, than risk being hurt later. This shows up in so many ways. You start flirting with other people when your relationship is going well. You create drama where none exists. You suddenly become hypercritical of your partner's small flaws. You convince yourself you're not ready for commitment right when things get real. The unconscious logic is twisted but clear. If I sabotage this myself, I'm in control. If I let it develop naturally, I might get hurt. Point 3. Health self-sabotage, the wellness rebellion. Let's talk about health and fitness. You decide to get in shape. You start eating well, exercising regularly, feeling amazing. Then suddenly, you binge on junk food for a week and stop going to the gym entirely. This isn't just lack of willpower. It's your death drive rebelling against the effort and discipline that wellness requires. Here's what happens. Taking care of yourself means acknowledging that you matter, that you're worth the effort. But if you grew up feeling unworthy, or if you learn that you don't deserve good things, your unconscious will sabotage your health efforts. Your death drive whispers, Who are you to feel this good? Who are you to look this good? You don't deserve this. So you unconsciously choose familiar patterns of neglect and self-punishment. 4. Financial self-sabotage, the money block. This one is particularly sneaky. You work hard to save money, pay off debt, or build wealth. Things are looking up financially. Then you make an impulse purchase that wipes out your progress. Or you make a risky investment that loses everything. Or you quit your job without a backup plan. Financial self-sabotage often comes from deep-seated beliefs about money and worthiness. If you grew up hearing money doesn't grow on trees or rich people are greedy, your unconscious might sabotage financial success to stay aligned with these early messages. Your death drive prefers familiar financial struggle over unfamiliar abundance. It would rather keep you broke and safe than wealthy and anxious about managing that wealth. Why pleasure causes guilt? Here's where it gets really interesting. Freud noticed that success, pleasure, and good feelings can actually trigger guilt and anxiety. He called this success neurosis. Think about it. Have you ever felt weird about being happy? Like you don't deserve it, or like something bad is about to happen to balance it out? This happens because many of us learn early in life that we don't deserve good things. Maybe your family struggled financially, so success feels like betrayal. Maybe you were raised with heavy religious guilt about pleasure. Maybe you learned that good things always come with a price. Your superego, that harsh inner critic, starts screaming when things go to well. You don't deserve this. You're getting above yourself. Something terrible is about to happen. So your death drive kicks in to restore the familiar discomfort. It's like having an internal thermostat set to struggle. When life gets to good, your unconscious turns up the self-sabotage to bring you back to your comfort zone of dysfunction. The repetition compulsion. Freud also discovered something he called repetition compulsion. We unconsciously recreate the same painful patterns over and over, even when we consciously want to change. You keep dating the same type of person who hurts you. You keep ending up in the same toxic work situations. You keep making the same financial mistakes. You keep sabotaging your health in the same ways. Why? Because the unconscious mind prefers familiar pain to unfamiliar pleasure. It would rather repeat known patterns than venture into unknown territory, even if that territory might be better. Your death drive keeps you stuck in these loops because they feel predictable and safe. The devil you know is less scary than the angel you don't. This is why people stay in bad relationships, bad jobs, bad financial situations. It's not that they like suffering. It's that their unconscious is terrified of the unknown possibilities that come with change. Breaking the cycle. Freud's solution. So how do you escape these self-destructive patterns? Freud had a clear answer. Make the unconscious conscious. Here's his step-by-step approach. Step 1. Recognize the pattern. Start paying attention to when you self-sabotage. Keep a journal. Notice the situations where you consistently mess things up. Look for the moments when success approaches and anxiety spikes. Ask yourself, what was I feeling right before I sabotaged this? What was I afraid of? What story was I telling myself? The key is catching the pattern in real time, not just analyzing it after the damage is done. Step 2. Trace it back. Once you recognize the pattern, trace it back to its origins. When did you first learn that you don't deserve good things? What early experiences taught you that success is dangerous? Maybe you learned that standing out brings punishment. Maybe you learned that good things don't last. Maybe you learned that success means abandoning the people you love. These aren't rational beliefs. They're unconscious programs installed early in life. But once you see them clearly, they lose some of their power. Step 3. Challenge the death drive. When you feel the urge to self-sabotage, pause and ask, is this my conscious choice? Or is this my death drive trying to pull me back to familiar dysfunction? Talk to that part of yourself. Say, I see you. I know you're trying to protect me, but this success isn't actually dangerous. I can handle this new level of life. Sometimes just acknowledging the death drive is enough to diffuse it. Step 4. Sublimation. Channel the energy. Here's Freud's genius insight. You can't just suppress the death drive. You need to redirect its energy into something constructive. That destructive urge can become creative energy. The same intensity that drives self-sabotage can fuel art, writing, exercise, or meaningful work. Instead of destroying your progress, use that energy to destroy old limitations. Instead of sabotaging your relationships, channel that intensity into passion and creativity. Step 5. Get support. Freud invented psychoanalysis because he knew we can't see our own blind spots. Sometimes you need another person to help you recognize these patterns, whether it's therapy, coaching, or just honest conversations with friends. Getting an outside perspective is crucial for breaking unconscious cycles. The death drive thrives in isolation and secrecy. Bringing it into the light of awareness and relationship diminishes its power. Here's what Freud discovered. We're not just victims of our unconscious patterns. Once we understand how the death drive works, we can start making conscious choices instead of being driven by unconscious fears. The next time you're about to sabotage something good in your life, remember this video. Ask yourself, is this me choosing, or is this my death drive trying to keep me small? Your unconscious mind might prefer familiar struggle, but your conscious mind can choose unfamiliar growth. So tell me, which of these self-sabotage patterns do you recognize in your own life? Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and your story might help someone else recognize their own patterns. If this video helped you understand something about yourself, hit that like button and share it with someone who might need to hear this. And subscribe for more psychology content that actually makes sense. Next week, we're diving into another controversial Freud topic: why you're attracted to people who are bad for you. Trust me, the answer will surprise you. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate the death drive, it's to make it conscious, so you can choose how to direct its energy. Until next time, keep exploring what makes your mind tick.